So Dr. Joe Unger presented really interesting data from the SWOG trials that actually looked at whether insurance and social determinants had an impact on the outcomes of clinical trials and whether it worked the same in subpopulations, because one of the things that we know is that when people get into a clinical trial, we expect everyone to have a similar outcome, and that should be applicable to everyone with this particular disease entity and inclusion criteria. But in fact, what he found was that was not at all the case. And in fact, patients who had Medicaid or were uninsured really did not benefit in the treatment arm as compared to patients with all these other kinds of characteristics. So age, gender, clinical risk, all those groups actually benefited in terms of survival from being in the treatment arm, but not those who had either Medicaid or no insurance. And now the question going forward is, and that finding was true across the years. And they looked from 1985 to 2012, long period of time looking at 5-year survival. And so the question is, why is that? What's going on? And so what we found, or what he found, was that this is a huge difference and we don't know why. And so part of it may be comorbidities, that patients have these different illnesses that are not being treated and that are not being covered by the clinical trial. So it puts them at greater risk. But even with that, that's not enough of an explanation. And so what is it about not having insurance or having Medicaid that's putting people at risk? Are they not getting the same kind of care? Are they not getting the same kind of navigation that they got while they were enrolled in the trial? Is it that we need to make sure that they're actually getting treatment for their other lots of medical conditions? Many of these patients have other comorbidities that can contribute to their overall survival or mortality. We need to make sure that those are really being addressed because that affects our interpretation of the clinical trial outcome. So whether this treatment works or not for that population, we're not really certain in the end.